Be yourself.
Yes.
Be yourself gives you what you do, and doing gives you what you have.
Hi, y'all. You're listening to Optimal Instinct with Trish, and I am Trish Tagley, a business efficiency expert who uses a one-day summit to get your clients to stay longer, pay more, and refer often. Today, our guest is Noreen Sumpter. Noreen is passionate about her work, and you can count on Noreen to always have you discover your truth, your own voice, and live life by your design. Want direction? She'll help you find it. Want inspiration? She can help you create it. Want to gain emotional healing and let go of the past? Not a problem. She stands with you in that truth, and you move forward inspired and empowered in your life. Noreen is laughter, discovery, and adventure, wrapped up in a big ball of energetic fun. Hi, Noreen. How are you?
How are you? How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm so glad that you decided to come on the show.
Well, thank you for asking. I often believe that if you ask for what you want, you will get it, more often than not.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's get to you.
Okay.
What is the problem that you solve?
Well, I help people discover who they are, what they want, so that they can live life their way. So I usually say I help people to own their voice, speak their truth, and live life their way. Now, you might ask, what is their way? Well, their way is any way that they want to live. And oftentimes it's a way that they're not living that they would like to live. I often hear people say, well, I can't be myself. Well, if you're not being yourself, who are you being? Because there's only one you, and there is no wrong you. It's just you being yourself. And we're here to discover, create, and experience what life is for us. And so that's what I help people discover. I help them in their careers. And I'm not a career coach, but I help them fish out what is it they want their career to look like. I always say look like, feel like, taste like. And if it was a texture, what would the texture of that be, right? I help them in their finances, have a look at it and see where it's working or not working, right? And what they need. It might be they need more money, or they need to get out of debt, or they need to just face that they have an issue. I had a client who was going to file bankruptcy. I said to her, I got this feeling that she didn't need to file bankruptcy. She just needed to get on board and really dig down deep and look at what wasn't working for her. And you know what? I still work with this client today, 8 years later. And she didn't go into bankruptcy. She paid up all that debt and got money back. There's a possibility. It's like getting our integrity back around our money.
Yes.
It usually helps us to figure out what's not working and have it work. So then I also work with people in their health. The health is always tied up in I don't like my body, or I'm fat, or I'm overweight, or I'm not healthy, I'm not working out, I'm not doing that. So I help people to get back into a structure or create a structure around, working out. And it doesn't have to be going and doing CrossFit or going to the gym. It could be you go take that walk, or you go take a walk a couple times around the block. I walk 10 times around the block. If I don't do Pilates, I walk around the block. And then it's I help them with their, environment, their physical environment. I had a client, really smart guy, graphic designer, but he was living like a hoarder, right?
Oh, okay.
And why was he living like a hoarder? Because he was raised by hoarders. I guess if you're raised by wolves, you live like a wolf, right?
Yes.
He was raised by hoarders. And so he was in England, because I work with my clients all over the world. What we would do is we would Skype in, and he would walk around his apartment, and he'd make agreements on what things that he would move and what things he would get rid of. Because what he wanted, he had 2 children that he was living with. These are his children. He was he had custody of these children. And so what I helped him to do was to clear out his house, because I believed if he cleared out his house, what would happen is he'd get that 3-bedroom apartment that he wanted, right? And he did. He cleared out his apartment. He got the 3-bedroom apartment. His income started to grow because he started to clear out his mind.
Yes.
Your house is like your mind.
Yes.
I know for myself, I have a certain level that my apartment can get to. And once it's over that threshold, it's like, it's time to get it sorted, you know, because we live in our homes, right?
Yes.
And it, you know, unless you're a person that can leave, I interact with everything in my house. You know, it doesn't just stay on the shelf. I might interact with it. Even my artwork, I move it around. So it's never stale, and it keeps my mind going. So I deal with that. And then I deal with people inside of relationships. And those are relationships, either it could be a love relationship, it could be a family relationship, or it could be a relationship with colleagues, right? Oftentimes people complain about their colleagues, or they complain about their bosses, you know. And what I found is oftentimes people are out of integrity with their work, something that they wanted at work, some promotion, some raise, something that they wanted that they didn't get. So their intentions were thwarted. And now they start to diminish themselves, not doing what they said they would do. Now they hate the job that they actually would have given a right arm and a leg for to get. They now hate that job, and they're not doing what they said they want to do. And then they want to leave and find a new job. So what I usually ask them is like, I usually discover what's going on. And I usually do find it's that there was something that they wanted, or some way relationship with the boss has gone sour. And so what I help them to do is to put that integrity back in, like really have a conversation with their boss, really own up to where, because you know when your employee is not doing the right thing.
You hope people know that.
If you're an employee yourself, you know that you're not handling the job, you're not doing what you said you would do in a timely manner, and you know your attitude stinks. But oftentimes what happens is we think it's out there instead of inside, because life occurs from the inside out, not the outside in. And many of us live from the outside in, trying to get what we need from the inside out. And so once I help them to get that sorted, the affinity for the job usually comes back. Once the affinity and they're back in integrity, doing what they said, they fall back in love with the job. And or then I can ask them, do you want to leave? Do you now want to leave? Because oftentimes people leave jobs, they haven't cleared up the mess that they were there to clear up, and they take that mess with them, not realizing that the mess is themselves.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Once they clean that up, they're free to go. And then we start to create, what kind of job do you really want? Because people go from one job to another job, but it's always the same job. Different places, same faces, so to speak, right? And so what I do is I help them to discover what they want, right? How they want to do it. What do they enjoy about their job? What do they want to do? What are they good at? And then we start to look for a job in that arena. And what's great about that is oftentimes what my experience is, I've been doing this 14 years, going on 15 years. And my experience is that once they've got the integrity together, once they start putting the job together, discovering, I usually ask them, go around your circles, because you get to a certain age, you have a circle, you have a community of people that you can tap into. Go talk to your friends, go talk to your circle, go tap in. And what I find is that they get the job that they want by tapping in. It's very rare that I've had people that actually go to agencies. Maybe an agency will reach out to them. You know, the agents will reach out to them and present something, which is an ideal situation. And that's happened many times.
This podcast is brought to you by TrishTagley.com and the book Everybody Knows You Suck, Bad Boss Stories, A Succinct Guide. Available now in both ebook and print format on Amazon.com. And the C's Value Model that supports your desire for client relationships that are more profitable, more productive, and more likely to refer. To understand more about the C's Value Model, go to clientvaluedemo.com.
That's just a little brief idea of what I do with them.
Yeah, from listening to you, I find my takeaway is that some people have a lack of awareness as well with regard to what's going on in their lives. And this manifests itself in various ways. And like you said, using the job, using the boss situation. Sometimes people are unhappy, but maybe it's identified, like in your case, it's identified where specifically it started. Right. But there are a lot of people that are unhappy and they can't figure that out.
Yeah. So that's what I help them to figure that out. Right. And so I give them exercises to do, and so also this relationship between coach and client is very symbiotic, right?
Yes.
It's an exchange of energy. I don't give my clients anything. So if you're a person that you've come to me and you think, oh, she's going to fix me. No, I'm not. Because one, you're not broken, right? You don't need fixing. You're not an object. You're a human being that is shifting and changing and expanding all the time, every time, right? And you're not an object, and it's not a one size fits all. We're all common, right, together, but you have your way that is intuitively your way. So my job is to discover that about you and then reflect it back to you so you can see yourself. My job is to reflect back to you what it is your experience, or you say your experience, so that you can actually see it. I always say, you can't see your own eyeballs. Neither can I. I can't see my own eyeballs.
Correct.
I can't see your own eyeballs. But what I can together, I can have you see your own eyeballs. And what I find is that my clients, they usually break down, right, and cry. And I usually let them to get on with it. I usually ask, are you crying? And they're like, yes. And I said, good. That's the first step. That's the first breakthrough, right? And once we have that, I am ready. It's like, it sounds really corny and hoo-hoo, but I actually help these people create magic in their life. And I'm not ashamed to say that, right? Because we are all here to live life and live it powerfully.
Yes.
And we're here. We are amazing. Human beings are amazing, amazing beings. We're amazing. We are the ones that say we're not amazing. And so, of course, we don't become amazing. But my clients, when they come to me, I always say, when you work with me, you are going to become shiny.
And that's interesting.
Shiny. I mean, I'm kidding you not. It's like their light starts, because they start to own their voice. They start to speak their truth, and they start to live their life the way they want. And owning their voice is not screaming or cussing or carrying on or getting upset or, challenging people. Owning your voice is just saying what's important to you in a way that people get it. In a way that your boss gets it. Because most people are like, he's not going to get it, he's not going to get it. And then they talk about the mothers the same way and the fathers. It's not very few fathers, actually. It's usually mommy that gets the burden, mommy that gets beat up, mommy that's the devil. You know what I mean? But when we talk about, how you're dealing with your parent, or that maybe what it is, you're 40 and you need to grow yourself up. Because instead of, when you're in front of your mother, instead of being that 40-year-old woman that you are, a director on a job, running your life or running a department, but when you go back to your mommy, it's like you become this small, insignificant woman, and you think it's your mother that's doing it. It's not the mother half the time. Half the time is we have not grown ourselves up, right? We're not treating our parents or our mothers like equals. Mommy is still on top of me and I'm just a little person subconsciously. But when you make them aware of it, they go, oh my God, you're right. So now when you have them grow up, an example of that is a client that I work with. Her mother, she said that her mother dominated and she couldn't get word in edgeways. And I said, it's time for you to grow up. She grew up, right? Yes. In 3 months, her relationship with her mother shifted, right? Because she grew up. And she started to accept herself as an equal, and she started to share with her mother, because it lives like, I'm not telling my mother anything. She's going to use it against me. It's kind of like, I'm going to get in trouble. It lives like that. It's not real, but that's how it lives. And so once she got herself equal, her mother and her go on spas now. They have conversations. Her mother shares things with her that she wouldn't ordinarily share. It's a real adult relationship. And so what we're looking to create when I'm looking to create with my clients is adult as a possibility. You can have fun and you can be playful and childlike, but you're creating it in the context of adult as a possibility. And then you live into being an adult, which allows you, as an adult, you share what you need to share, right? You own your voice. You own this person that's in your being. You own that person inside of that body. Right. And then you go forth and then things start to transform and people become shiny, things that they want to show up because they're able to ask for it. Yep. The life that they want to live shows up because they're able to create it. The relationships.
Because, obviously this is a process. This is not something that, it could happen, because anything can happen, but it's obviously something right now that is a process. But what is the one tip that you could give our audience that would help maybe flick the switch in their head into awareness or into, a different mindset?
Okay, so I usually tell my clients and myself that I am the most important person in my life. I am, right?
Yes.
I am more important than my children. I don't have children, but I'm more important than my children. I'm more important than my boss. I'm more important than anybody, right? Doesn't mean that people are not important, but what I get is if you start to experience yourself as the most important person in your life, you get to speak what's there for you. And also what happens is you start to see people as important. When you start to see yourself as important, you start to see other people as important. You start to discover, well, I have my needs. I'm sure they have their needs, right? And then you're able to listen for your needs and listen for another person's needs. Not my needs are more important than your needs. No, it's a balance. It's a circle that keeps on moving around and around. So you start to love yourself in a way that you've never loved yourself before, which is completely powerful because you live in a world where you are no longer suffering.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. So and basically, as you improve,
I don't call it improvement because we're not objects.
Okay.
Like the BMW 6 can become the BMW 7 next year. But the Noreen can't become, I'm not an object. I'm not going to do a tweak here and be an improvement. I'm going to expand as a human being, right? So I look at expanding as you expand up to the sides, front and back. It's like a balloon. You put air in, it expands, right? So in terms of a person being, it's like as I be is what I see and is what I give out.
Yeah,
and
it's a mirror.
Get back. Absolutely a mirror. And so another tip would be you're the most important person in your life. And another tip is you have to be fully yourself. And if you don't know what that is, start to discover it. Because yourself, along with being the most important person, is you can't be anybody else because everybody else is taken. And it's exhausting. It's exhausting to try to be something that you're not.
That's very true.
Too much work, right?
It is.
So just be the person that you are and start to create yourself. You start to expand yourself. I came here to America with 60 pounds in my pocket. I was a secretary. Then I didn't want to be a secretary anymore. I wanted to be a real estate broker. So I had to create myself as a real estate broker. Everything that we want to do, we have to create ourselves as that person. I ran my own real estate company for 15 years. Didn't want to do that anymore. People were like, why are you leaving? You're doing so well. Well, it's more like my life is more than just money. I love money, don't get me wrong, but life is more than just money. And I couldn't stay doing something just for the money because my clients would suffer. So I had to create myself as being a life coach, which I went back to school and I had to take all the steps to become this person that I am. And I will tell you that I walk my talk. I am not just a, coach by name only. I am a coach by being, and I'm a coach by spirit. And I love what I do. It is, for me, it gives me everything that I could possibly want in my life. And I say to people, be yourself. Yes. Be yourself gives you what you do, and doing gives you what you have. So
that's fantastic. I like that.
I term it like, if you're being shitty, you're going to do shitty things. And the results is how do people treat shitty people? That's how
I'm not going to say it, but yeah.
So it's like being gives you what you do. So if you're being loving, you're going to do loving things.
Yes.
You're being powerful. If you're being powerful, you're going to do powerful things. And powerful things are relative. Yes. A powerful thing could be like, I love swiping people at the train station. And so I always get monthly and I swipe people. So I see kids trying to hop the train. No. You will be arrested. Let me swipe you. And they usually like, oh, wow, somebody's swiping us. And I believe that all people that have a swipe card, unlimited Metro card in the city should swipe everyone so everyone can travel, right? That's power can be simple, but power is also whatever you say it is and how it expands, but it always involves others.
Yes.
So be your powerful self.
Yeah, unless you're on top of the mountain, you're right. It does involve everyone else.
Yes.
We're getting to the end of the show. Mm-hmm. And my last question for you is, what should I have asked you that I did not?
What should you have asked me? So I usually ask this question to my people that come on my show, and now I feel like them. What should you ask me? Oh, ask me why you think it's important that people have coaches.
So why should people have coaches?
Well, there was a time when I said that nobody should have anything, but I really believe that people should consider having a coach, because it gives you a perspective outside yourself, like I said, so you can see the reflection of what's going on. Coaching is not an easy thing to do. It's very confronting. Where it's confronting about your personal self, about your life. You're going to share your life with this person, right? Oh my God, I'm going to expose myself. So people feel very vulnerable. Jump anyway. People worry about, am I going to get the result for the money that I'm paying? Pay the money. You create the result. I don't do the job for you. You have to do the job. And that's what you get. If you do the work, you'll get the result. So I think that it's really important that people have coaches, because it just opens up things inside of you. It opens up a sense of who you are. Like I said, we can't see ourselves. We can only feel ourselves. And sometimes we make up stuff about ourselves that we feel that is not true. So yes, I believe that everyone who's up to something in their life should have a coach. That's what I believe.
That's fantastic. So thank you very much, Noreen, for being on the show. And it was great to connect with you again. I haven't seen you in quite a bit. And it looks like things are rolling along for you. And congratulations on that. And again,
can I
go on creating? Sure.
So I started a program which is called Lunch Lady. And so Lunch Lady is a platform for women who are in business, new business, thinking about joining business, who have been in business a long time, but maybe they need new skills. So what I do is I invite speakers and trainers to come to this lunch hour. It's a 90-minute lunch hour. It's wonderful. Last month we learned LinkedIn. So it's a working lunch. So everybody brings their computer and they actually learn how to do LinkedIn right there. They upgrade their pages, they change stuff, and bringing technologies and information to people on a 90-minute pop once a month. And because I'm really committed that Lunch Lady feeds your brain, helps you to grow your business and your life. So that's one of my stuff. So you can reach me at lunchlady.nyc on Facebook. And if you want to reach me, you can reach me on Noreen at Noreen Sumpter Coach. And just Google me. I always say, just Google me. I'm right there.
Well, we'll definitely put a blurb underneath the audio of this podcast, and we'll get people to reach out to you.
Thank you so much for having me on the show. I really, really appreciate it, Trish.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Noreen. I'll talk to you again. Thank you very much for joining us on Optimal Instinct with Trish. If you've enjoyed what you've heard, head on over to iTunes, subscribe, and if you really enjoy the content, leave us a well-appreciated review. If you are looking to create an environment that partners your desire for more profitable, more productive, and greater referability in client relationships, combined with sustained team morale, then I suggest you head over to clientvaluedemo.com to learn more about the C's value model. Talk soon.